The Interstellar Academy always felt busy, even on quiet days. Students from many worlds walked through the tall glass halls, speaking in different tones, carrying different tools, and wearing different cultural symbols. Every corner of the academy had its own kind of energy. Some places were calm, some were bright, and some were full of soft conversations. But today felt slightly different, because a new student had arrived. Her name was Lysera. She belonged to a gentle, graceful species called the Lemurians. Their most special feature was the soft glow that flowed across their skin. It was not bright like a lamp, but more like the calm shine of the moon. It shifted colors with their emotions: faint blue for calm, soft pink for curiosity, pale silver for deep thought. On her first day, many students looked at her with quiet admiration. People respected the Lemurians. They were known for their wisdom, for their emotional balance, and for their peaceful nature. They rarely joined mixed-species academies, so seeing one here was unusual. Lysera walked with careful steps through the main hall. She held her learning tablet close to her chest, and her glow stayed a steady light blue, a sign she was calm, but alert. Many students whispered to each other, not in a rude way, but in amazement. "Look, a Lemurian. She must be very intelligent. I heard they can sense emotional patterns. She looks so calm. I wish I could stay that calm during exams." Lysera heard the whispers, but she only smiled politely. Her species had strong hearing, but she never commented on what she picked up. She chose peace, silence, and presence. Among the crowd stood Orion, a human trainee. Orion was not loud or highly confident. He was observant, thoughtful, and a little quiet, but not shy. Humans at the academy were known for something different than Lemurians. Humans were good at noticing unusual details. They were curious, adaptable, and able to understand expressions across many species. Orion watched Lysera from a distance. He didn't stare. He just noticed. He paid attention to the way her glow shifted slightly every time someone looked directly at her. It wasn't fear, just mild awareness. He noticed how she walked with steady steps, but her fingers sometimes tightened on the tablet when someone came too close. Most students did not notice these tiny details, but Orion did. Later that afternoon, the academy held an interspecies communication exercise, a simple activity meant to help students understand how different species express their feelings, thoughts, and ideas. The teacher assigned small groups. Orion and Lysera ended up in the same group, along with two other students: Meko, a short, energetic insectoid, and Illyra, a tall aquatic species who spoke with soft humming sounds. They all sat around a round table in Communication Chamber 3. The room had smooth white walls and a glowing orb in the center of the ceiling that adjusted its brightness to match the comfort of each species present. The teacher explained the task. "Today you will practice interpreting emotional cues without using direct questions. This helps develop empathy and cross-cultural understanding. Please observe your teammates carefully." The exercise seemed simple enough. Meko started first. He introduced himself with cheerful antenna movements. Illyra responded with warm humming. Orion smiled politely and added his name calmly. Then it was Lysera's turn. She lifted her head, her soft glow brightening a little, and said, "I am Lysera. I am honored to learn with all of you. I hope we can understand each other well." Her voice was smooth, like the faint sound of wind through leaves. It instantly relaxed the group. Meko hummed with excitement. Illyra made a ripple-like gesture of welcome. Orion nodded gently. Everything seemed fine, normal, calm, and easy, but then something unexpected happened. Lysera began explaining more about her culture, about how Lemurians used emotional resonance to communicate subtle meaning. She spoke in simple sentences so everyone could understand, and then she stopped. She didn't pause to think. She didn't slow down. She didn't plant her words carefully. She froze. Her glow dimmed. Her eyes widened slightly. Her hands stayed in mid-motion, almost as if time around her had paused for just a moment. The room fell silent. Even Meko lowered his antennae in confusion. Illyra blinked her large blue eyes. Is something wrong? She asked softly. Lysera did not respond. She remained still, as though her senses had suddenly overloaded. Her glow flickered once very faintly, almost like a candle pressed by a breeze. The pause lasted only 3 seconds, but it felt much longer to everyone watching except Orion. Orion's eyes sharpened not in fear, but in realization. He recognized something. He did not know how he knew, but he felt familiar with the expression on Lysera's face. It reminded him of a human reaction he had seen before, the look of someone who encountered too many emotional signals at once and needed a moment to steady themselves. He understood the way her glow dimmed not as danger, but as emotional overload or something close to it, without making a big deal. Orion shifted slightly in his seat and offered a gentle, grounding presence. He kept his voice soft and steady. "Take your time," he said, not loud. Not fast, not dramatic, just calm. Something about his tone reached Lysera. Her glow brightened again just a fraction. Her fingers relaxed. She blinked and slowly exhaled, regaining her balance. Meko looked relieved. Elira made a soothing sound. The teacher, observing from the corner, noted the moment with interest. Lysera finally spoke again, her voice soft. "Thank you. I am fine now." Her glow shifted to a soft peach color, slightly embarrassed but grateful. The teacher gave her a kind nod. "If you need a moment to step outside, you may." Lysera shook her head gently. "No, I wish to continue." The group moved on with the exercise, but something had changed. Lysera's glow stayed steady, but every now and then she glanced at Orion with quiet curiosities. If she wondered how he knew exactly what to say, the session ended peacefully. Students gathered their tablets and headed toward the corridor. Lysera stayed back a moment, organizing her things slowly, perhaps to avoid the crowd. Orion walked past her, but not without offering a small, respectful nod. "You handled everything well," he said kindly. Lysera blinked, surprised. "Thank you." "Appreciate your calm words?" Ryan hesitated for a moment, then said, "I did not want you to feel pressured." That pause looked like something I recognize. Lysera's glow warmed softly. "You recognized it?" Orion simply nodded. "Yes." Lysera studied him with thoughtful eyes. Most species could not detect subtle changes in Lemurian glow patterns. But a human could, because humans were naturally observant and emotionally flexible. They noticed things even when others missed them. The moment felt small, but important. Lysera gave him a gentle smile. "I see." She did not ask how he knew. She did not explain more. But in that instant, she realized the human had seen something others did not. Something she usually kept hidden. A secret weakness. Not dramatic, but deeply personal. Something she never expected human to understand. Orion raised a hand in a friendly gesture and walked out. Lysera watched him go, her glow shifting to a soft shade of lavender. Lemurian color for curiosity mixed with warm respect. Something told her this human would play a much larger role in her life at the academy than she first imagined. And deep inside, Orion already knew there was more to Lysera's pause than anyone else had realized. The next day at the Interstellar Academy began with the soft sound of morning chimes. Students walked through the wide halls, carrying light tablets, greeting each other with polite gestures. The Academy's atmosphere always felt calm in the morning. Filled with soft light that reflected off glass floors and silver walls, Lysera arrived earlier than usual. She liked quiet spaces before the busy hours began. She sat at a round table near a tall window where the sun shined through the Academy's shield dome. The sunlight blended with her natural glow, creating a soft shimmer around her. She held her tablet, but she wasn't reading yet. Her mind kept returning to yesterday, the moment she froze, the moment her glow dimmed, the moment she felt overwhelmed. It had happened quickly, like an unexpected wave passing through her senses. Most surprising of all was Orion. He didn't panic. He didn't ask loud questions. He didn't call attention to her pause. He simply said, "Take your time." In a calm tone, Lysera remembered the steadiness in his eyes. Humans showed emotions in clear ways through their faces, voices, and posture. But Orion's expression was calm, almost understanding. She wondered how he recognized her condition so easily. Her own classmates from her homeworld often struggled to notice early signs. But a human? That was unusual. Before she could think further, a voice interrupted her thoughts. "Morning," Orion said with a small smile. Lysera looked up, surprised to see him. He wasn't usually early. "Good morning, Orion," she replied politely. He sat across from her, placing his tablet on the table. His movements were simple and comfortable, not rushed. He didn't treat her like someone fragile. He treated her like a normal student. Lysera appreciated that. "You're early today," she observed. Orion shrugged lightly. "I wanted to review the material before class, and also to see if you're feeling all right." Lysera blinked softly. Her glow shifted to a faint peach tint, a sign of gentle appreciation. "I am fine now." "Yesterday was only a moment of imbalance." Orion nodded. "I figured." She studied him closely. "You recognized it, yes." "How?" she asked quietly. Orion rested his hands on the table. "Humans get overwhelmed sometimes. Maybe in different ways than Lemurians. But the signs look similar." Lysera tilted her head slightly. "You make it sound simple." "For me it was," Orion said honestly. "Your glow dimmed in a pattern that reminded me of someone trying to reset their focus." Lysera stared at him in silence. Surprised, he noticed something so subtle. Lemurians were very private about emotional resonance. Their glow reflected their inner state. But only beings with strong observational skills could read the finer patterns. "You noticed what others did not," she said softly. Orion shook his head modestly. "I didn't know if I was right. But I thought giving space was the safest choice." Lysera's glow brightened into a soft blue again, the color of calm trust. They sat quietly for a moment before the bell rang for class. Students began filling the halls, creating a gentle buzz of voices. "Shall we walk together?" Orion asked politely. Lysera nodded. "Yes, that would be pleasant." As they walked side by side, other students looked their way. Not out of judgment, but curiosity. It was rare to see a Lemurian bonding with a human so quickly. Yet Lysera walked with ease, her glow steady and bright. Later that afternoon, during the Cultural Response Studies class, their instructor, Professor Halem, announced a new assignment. "Today, each of you will observe your group members and write a short reflection on how they express comfort and discomfort in subtle ways." Lysera felt her glow shift. This topic was sensitive for her species. Lemurians did not enjoy discussing personal imbalances, but she remained composed. The same group from the previous day gathered Lysera, Orion, Meko, and Alira. They sat in a circle. Ready to begin the task, Professor Halem encouraged them to share gentle observations about each other's nonverbal signals. Meko was the first to speak. "Alira hums softly when she's thinking. It's like a melody." Alira smiled with a bubbling sound. "Thank you. And you move your antennae when you're excited." The insectoid student's antennae wiggled immediately, proving the observation correct. Lysera added, "Orion keeps his hands still when he is focusing. It shows deep thought." Orion smiled shyly. "I didn't know that." Then it was Orion's turn. He looked at Lysera gently, making sure she felt safe before he spoke. Lysera's glow changes when she's adjusting to a new emotional environment. Lysera froze for a moment, not in distress, but in surprise. No one had ever said it so kindly, so simply, without making it feel unusual. Meko tilted his head. "Glow changes? But it always looks smooth to me," Lyra added. "I only see bright or dim." Orion shook his head. "There are tiny shifts, like ripples." Lysera felt her glow warm, a soft lavender, the color of thoughtful emotion. "You observe my patterns very closely," he said. "I only notice because I pay attention." Orion replied gently. "Not because I wanted to make you uncomfortable." She nodded. "I understand." Professor Halem smiled warmly from across the room. "This is exactly what the exercise is about. They're standing without assumptions." As the group worked on their reflections, Lysera felt something different. She felt seen but not exposed. Understood but not judged. Orion didn't treat her pause as a problem. He treated it as a normal part of who she was. That was rare. After class, in the quiet garden area, Lysera walked toward the Academy Gardens, a calm place with soft lights and gentle floating petals. She often came here to reset her senses. But today, Orion followed her carefully, making sure she didn't mind. "May I join you?" he asked softly. Lysera nodded. Yes, this place is peaceful. They walked along the stone path, surrounded by the delicate shimmer of floating petals that changed color with the wind. Lysera finally spoke. "My species experiences sensory overload in unfamiliar emotional spaces. It is not harmful, but it can be overwhelming." Orion listened closely, not interrupting. It happens when too many emotional signals come at once. Yesterday's exercise required reading emotions from many species. It became too much for a moment. Orion nodded. "That makes sense?" Lysera looked at him curiously. "You accept it easily. Why wouldn't I?" Orion replied. "Everyone has something they struggle with. Humans too." Lysera tilted her head. "Do humans also experience sensory imbalance?" "Sometimes," Orion explained. "Not in the same glowing way, of course. But humans get overwhelmed by strong emotions, crowds, noise, or pressure. Some freeze for a moment, some look away. Some breathe slowly until they feel balanced again." Lysera listened carefully. His explanation made her feel understood in a way she never expected. "That is why you recognized my pause," she said softly. "Yes," Orion said with a gentle smile. It looked familiar. Lysera's glow warmed into a soft golden tone appreciation. "You notice what many others missed," she said. "Even some Lemurians would not understand so quickly." Orion shrugged lightly. "I just tried to pay attention." They walked in silence for a moment, enjoying the calm garden air. The floating petals drifted around them like soft lights. Finally, Lysera spoke again. "Thank you, Orion." "For what?" "For seeing me," she said quietly. "Not as a rare student, not as a Lemurian, but as someone simply trying her best." Orion gave a warm smile. "That's easy, because you are." Lysera's glow brightened, smooth and steady. For the first time since joining the academy, she felt truly comfortable around someone, and Orion, walking beside her, realized he had learned something important about her, something she did not share with others. Not because it was a flaw, but because it was personal, a secret weakness that he understood without judgment. And now, quiet trust was forming between them, slowly, gently, and naturally. The next 2 days at the Interstellar Academy passed gently, but something small and important had changed between Lysera and Orion. Their friendship was not loud or dramatic. It grew in quiet moments, short conversations, shared walks to class, and peaceful breaks in the garden. Other students noticed how naturally they understood each other. When Lysera's glow dimmed slightly, Orion would slow his steps without making a fuss. When Orion became too focused and forgot to relax his shoulders, Lysera would make a soft, calming tone that reminded him to breathe. Their connection grew like sunlight warming the ground, slow, steady, and comforting. But neither of them spoke openly about what had happened during the communication exercise. Not yet. That changed on the morning of the Academy's Group Harmony Workshop, a weekly session meant to help students from different species learn how to support each other. The workshop took place in a circular room filled with low cushions, gentle lights, and plants from different worlds. The air carried a soothing scent, calming the mind and helping everyone stay comfortable. Orion arrived early, expecting to see Lysera. She often liked arriving before the room got busy, and there she was sitting on a teal cushion, reviewing the workshop instructions on her tablet. Her glow shimmered a calm blue. "Morning," Orion said softly. Lysera looked up and nodded. "Good morning. You ready for the workshop?" "I believe so," she answered with a gentle smile. "It looks peaceful today." But as other students entered, the room slowly filled with conversations, gestures, and different emotional atmospheres. Lysera's glow shifted to a softer blue, still steady, but showing she was working to stay balanced. Orion noticed, but he respected her space. He didn't hover. He didn't ask questions. He simply sat beside her so she didn't feel alone. The instructor, Counselor Mirren, stepped into the center of the circle. She was a floating species with wings made of shimmering light, known for creating peaceful environments wherever she went. "Welcome, everyone," she said. "Today's workshop will focus on shared trust and gentle communication. We will work in pairs, supporting each other through guided exercises." Students whispered quietly. Lysera glanced at Orion, her glow warming slightly. Counselor Mirren continued. "Please choose someone you feel comfortable with." Lysera hesitated only briefly. She looked toward Orion, and he met her eyes with a friendly nod. "We can work together," he said kindly. Lysera's glow brightened with ease. "Yes, I would like that." They moved to a quieter section of the room as the workshop began. Exercise 1, Gentle Listening Counselor. Mirren asked each pair to take turns sharing a simple story while the other listened without interrupting. Orion went first. "I can't think of anything exciting," he said with a shy laugh. Lysera shook her head. "Simple stories are welcome." So Orion talked about his first week at the academy, how he got lost twice, how he accidentally walked into a cleaning robot, and how he felt nervous but hopeful. Lysera listened with soft interest, her glow shifting with each emotion he expressed. She did not interrupt, but she added a gentle laugh when he described the cleaning robot, telling him, "Please exit the maintenance zone." When it was her turn, Lysera shared a story from her homeworld. She described her village made of glowing crystals and the peaceful walks she took with her elders at dusk. Her voice flowed like soft music. Orion listened quietly, focusing fully on her words. He imagined the glowing paths she described, the calm nights, the gentle songs of her people. When she finished, he said, "Your world sounds beautiful." Lysera gave a soft, warm smile. "Thank you." Exercise 2. Identifying comfort signals. This time, partners had to describe what made the other person seem comfortable or uncomfortable. But gently and politely, Orion spoke first. "You seem most comfortable when it's calm and steady. When things get bright or crowded, your glow gets a little softer." Lysera blinked in amazement. "You really do notice." "I try to," Orion said. Then Lysera spoke. "You seem comfortable when you have something to focus on. When you do not, your thoughts look like they turn many directions at once." Orion laughed softly. "That's true." They shared a warm moment of understanding. Exercise 3. Shared Support. Counselor Myron explained that each pair would practice a grounding technique, helping each other stay centered if emotions became too strong. Lysera's glow dimmed slightly at the instructions, not in fear, but in realization. She knew this exercise involved emotional awareness. Orion saw the shift. He kept his tone gentle. "We can take it slow. No pressure." Lysera nodded quietly. The exercise began. Counselor Mirren guided them through calm breathing. Soft lights drifted around the room. Students lowered their voices. Lysera breathed slowly, her glow steady, until the room grew a bit louder as other pairs whispered. The mixture of different emotional tones, curiosity, nervousness, excitement filled the air. Her glow flickered. It was small, very small. Most people would not have noticed, but Orion did. He adjusted his posture, creating a stable, calm presence beside her. He didn't touch her or speak loudly. He simply sat close enough that she could sense his steady focus. "Follow my breathing," he whispered gently. His tone was soft, warm, and patient. Lysera closed her eyes. The shifting emotions around her started to blend into a smooth background instead of sharp individual signals. She matched her breathing to Orion's steady rhythm. Her glow brightened again. Soft and balanced, the moment passed quietly, unnoticed by the rest of the group. When the exercise ended, Counselor Mirren praised everyone for their effort. Students began chatting and packing their tablets. But Lysera remained still, her glow a soft shade of lavender deep, emotion mixed with gratitude. Orion looked at her gently. "Are you okay?" Lysera nodded slowly. "Yes." Because you helped. She paused, gathering courage. Her glow warmed into a gold-tinted hue. Orion, she said softly. My species does not usually speak about our sensitivities in open spaces. It is part of our culture to keep such things private. Orion listened closely. That pause you saw on the first day, she continued, was a sign of sensory imbalance. It happens when too many emotions enter my senses at once. It is not harmful, just overwhelming. Orion nodded gently. I understand. Lysera looked at him with a deeper gaze. The thing is, only someone who is very observant can see it before it becomes too strong. Many beings, even from my own world, do not notice. Humans can. Orion asked softly. Not all, she said, but you can. You saw it before I spoke a word. She lowered her glow slightly, not in embarrassment but in honesty. That is why I trust you, she said slowly. Orion felt warmth spread through him. Not pride. Not excitement. Just gentle appreciation. I don't know how I saw it, he admitted. I just recognized the feeling. Humans get overwhelmed too. Maybe that's why. Lysera nodded. Humans feel many emotions deeply. That gives you a kind of understanding that many other species do not use. Her glow brightened softly. You knew my hidden weakness, yet you treated it gently. Without making me feel different, Orion smiled kindly. Because you're not different. You're just you. Lysera's glow warmed into a beautiful shade of crystal pink, the color of sincere gratitude in her species. For the first time, she spoke the truth fully. Orion, you saw my imbalance before even I understood it. And you balanced me without making me feel small. That is why. I feel safe around you. Orion looked at her, touched by her words. I'm glad you do. They walked out of the workshop together, side by side, sharing a quiet connection that no one else noticed, and perhaps soft glowing petals drifting through the hallway lights. Lysera had finally shared her secret, and Orion, quietly and naturally, had earned her trust. The days following the group harmony workshop passed with a new sense of calm between Lysera and Orion. Their connection had grown deeper after Lysera's quiet confession. It was not something dramatic or loud. It was steady, gentle, and comforting, like a soft melody that stayed. In the background of their daily life at the academy, even other students began to notice a small change. Lysera seemed more relaxed whenever Orion was near. Orion carried himself with a quiet confidence that hadn't been there before. No one understood the reason, but they sensed a natural balance between the two. That morning, sunlight streamed through the academy's glass ceiling, making patterns on the marble floor. Students walked to their classes with excited voices. A soft breeze flowed through the halls from the air vents. Carrying the scent of the academy garden, Lysera and Orion walked together to their next session interdisciplinary exploration, a class where students from different species solved tasks by using each other's strengths. Lysera held her tablet close, her glow a peaceful shade of silver blue. Orion walked beside her, adjusting his backpack strap. You seem calm today? Orion noticed. Lys. Ira nodded. Your presence helps maintain balance. Orion smiled shyly, happy to help. When they entered the classroom, their instructor, Professor Erlen, greeted them with a warm expression. Erlen's species had transparent skin that reflected light like crystal, giving the room a soft shimmer whenever she moved. Today, Professor Erlen announced, you will face a multisensory challenge. This exercise will test observation, emotional understanding, and teamwork. Lysera's glow shifted slightly, not dim, but alert. Multisensory environments could trigger her overload if too many signals appeared at once. Orion noticed the subtle color change and shifted just a bit closer. Offering calm assurance, the professor continued. Each team must guide one member through a simulated environment designed to test communication and trust. No one will be in any discomfort. The goal is harmony and understanding. The class smiled with relief. All academy simulations were gentle and safe, designed to build cooperation without stress. Lysera whispered to Orion, simulated environments can feel intense. We'll take it slow, Orion replied. We'll do this together. Our team for the exercise included Meko and Alira again. The four of them stood inside a large circular simulation chamber. Soft lights filled the room, and a gentle hum sounded from the floor. The professor said, "Lysera, your species is sensitive to emotional environments. Today, you will be the one receiving guidance from your team. Orion, Meko, and Alira will help you move through the experience using calm communication." Lysera's glow wavered ever so slightly. Orion placed a hand on his heart as a friendly reassurance gesture humans often used. "We're all here. You won't face this alone, and we'll go at your pace." Lysera exhaled slowly. "I trust you." The simulation began. Inside the simulated world, the walls slowly dissolved into a soft landscaper, virtual environment made of glowing shapes, floating lights, and calm music. Nothing was sharp or dangerous. Everything was gentle, but the emotions of the room shifted like waves. Bright shapes represented excitement. Cool colors represented calm. Warm lights represented curiosity. For most species, it was easy to interpret. For Lysera, all these emotional colors blended directly with her senses. Her glow dimmed a little, not dangerously. But in confusion, Meko chirped, "Follow my voice." "Left, left." Alira added, "A soft hum means calm near the blue lights." But their instructions overlapped. Their voices carried different emotional tones, and Lysera's senses tried to follow them all at once. Her glow flickered. Orion immediately stepped forward. "Stop," he said softly to the group, raising a gentle hand. His voice was steady, not loud. Lysera looked toward him, relieved. Orion spoke calmly, "We need one voice at a time." Too many signals confuse her senses. Meko blinked. "Oh, sorry." Alira nodded quietly. Orion turned to Lysera. "I'll guide you slowly. You just follow my voice. The others will give support only when needed." Lysera nodded, her glow slowly returning to a smoother color. "Ready?" Orion asked. "Yes," she whispered. Orion's voice remained soft and steady, never excited. He guided her through the landscape, telling her when to turn, when to breathe, and when to pause. He described the colors in ways she could process without overload. Move toward the soft blue. Stop near the gentle light. Let the warm color pass by. Lysera followed, her glow stabilizing with each step. Meko and Alira watched in amazement. Professor Erlen observed from outside with a thoughtful expression. By the end of the simulation, Lysera reached the center of the environment, where a gentle white glow symbolized harmony. Her glow brightened into a bright silver, the Lumerian color for deep peace. The simulation ended, dissolving back into the class chamber. Students applauded quietly, impressed. Lysera turned to Orion. "Your guidance felt like calm waves." "Thank you," Orion smiled. "Anytime." Meko buzzed excitedly. "Wow, humans are good at this." Alira added, "I have never seen someone guide a Lumerian so gently." Professor Erlen approached them. "Excellent teamwork. Orion, your method was impressive. You helped Lysera stay balanced without pressure. That is a rare skill." Orion felt his cheeks warm with modest pride. Lysera's glow shimmered beside him, steady and bright. Later, in the academy courtyard after classes ended, Lysera and Orion walked together through the courtyard. The floating petals drifted around them, glowing softly in the afternoon light. They found a quiet bench under a tall crystal tree that cast sparkling shadows. Lysera sat down gracefully, her glow a warm pinkish sheeta, sign of thoughtful happiness. "Orion," she began softly, "today you showed me that trust can exist between very different beings." Orion sat beside her. "We make a good team." Lysera looked at him with deep calm. "My people say that trust is like a gentle lamp. It does not shine loudly. It shines steadily. That is what I feel around you." Orion felt something warm inside his chest. Not romantic, not dramatic, just deep appreciation for her honesty. "I'm glad you feel that way," he said quietly. Lysera continued, "Before I met you, I believed humans were unpredictable. Many Lemurians think humans have too many emotions too quickly. Orion laughed softly. We do, but now, Lysera said, I understand that humans also have something specially emotional awareness. You see feelings in ways others ignore. Her glow brightened warmly. You understood my imbalance before I admitted it. You supported me without making me feel different. Orion nodded. Because you're not different, you're just Lysera. Lysera held his gaze. Her glow turned lavender, the color of deep trust. You are the first person outside my species to guide me through an emotional environment without confusion. I'm honored, Orion replied gently. For a moment, they simply sat in the courtyard, breathing the calm air, watching the petals drift by. Their connection did not need many words. It existed quietly, like a soft light between them. Later that evening, as the academy lights dimmed for nighttime cycles, Lysera returned to her dorm room. Her room was decorated with soft crystal lights from her homeland, each giving off a calm glow. She sat on her bed, touching the side of her neck where the glow was brightest. It reflected her emotions: peace, gratitude, and something gentle she could not fully name. Orion had become a steady presence she could rely on, a human. Someone from a species known for emotional storms. Yet he had the calmness of a still lake whenever she needed it most. Lysera whispered to herself, he truly understands. Her glow shimmered softly across the room, and she closed her eyes, feeling a sense of harmony she had never known. Before the trust between two worlds had deepened beyond simple friendship, and neither of them knew that this gentle bond would soon grow even stronger. Lysera walked through the quiet hallway of the Interstellar Academy with a calm mind. The soft lights on the walls reflected gently on her pale blue skin, and her glowing markings shone in soft waves. For the first time since her arrival months ago, she felt truly steady inside. She no longer feared the strange pauses that sometimes stopped her during class. She no longer felt unsure when her thoughts became too bright or too heavy. She had learned something important. She was not alone. Orion walked beside her, holding a small tablet in his hands. He was reading the schedule for the final week of the academy term. His steps were relaxed, and his simple human expression brought comfort to Lysera. She appreciated how calm he always looked. Humans had many strong emotions, but Orion knew how to keep his voice and movements gentle, especially around her. Today is the last practice session, Orion said. Then next week is the final presentation. Lysera nodded slowly. I feel ready, she said. Her voice was soft, but her tone carried new confidence. Orion looked up with a small smile. You really grew a lot. Lysera turned her head toward him. You helped me, she said. Without you, I might still fear my own senses. Orion shook his head lightly. You found your own balance, he replied. I just made sure you did not feel lost. The two entered a round room where their classmates were already gathering. The room was filled with soft chairs arranged in a circle and gentle white lights that floated above the ceiling. This was the Academy's emotional communication hall. Students from different species came to practice, understanding nonverbal expressions and subtle gestures. When Lysera stepped inside, she felt her markings brighten. She remembered how this same room once made her overwhelmed. The lights used to feel too sharp. The voices felt too mixed. The unfamiliar emotions around her created pressure in her mind. But now, she stood strong, breathing calmly and evenly. Their instructor, a tall being named Selvar, noticed them and raised a hand in greeting. Good morning, Lysera. Good morning, Orion, Selvar said warmly. You two seem ready for today's session. Lysera bowed her head politely. I feel prepared. Orion nodded once. We're ready, Selvar smiled. Today's theme is harmony and diverse thought. You will work in pairs again, but each pair will be asked to guide each other through shifting emotional patterns. Lysera felt a soft excitement inside. She glanced at Orion, and he gave her a small, encouraging look. She felt grounded again. The session began with the students pairing with partners. As expected, Selvar paired Lysera with Orion. Many students now saw them as a balanced team, especially because their strengths fit well together. Lysera's sensitivity helped her sense emotional shifts, and Orion's steady nature made him easy to read. They sat across from each other on the soft seats. Selvar's calm voice filled the room. Begin with a simple emotional pattern. One partner expresses a feeling silently, through only subtle gestures or facial cues. The other partner observes and responds. Lysera inhaled and closed her eyes gently. She had practiced this many times, but today felt different. She was no longer afraid of sensing too much. She opened her eyes and watched Orion carefully as he began. He lowered his gaze slightly, his shoulders relaxing. He shifted his breathing. These simple gestures might have been invisible to others, but Lysera felt the soft emotional signal behind them. It was a calming, steady presence, like a warm glow. You are expressing calm intention, Lysera said. Orion nodded. Correct. Now you try. Lysera took a moment. Her markings brightened in soft waves. She let a gentle, hopeful feeling rise inside her. She expressed it through the slight upward curve of her lips and by raising her chin just a little. Orion watched closely. His eyes softened. Hopefulness. Lysera's eyes widened in pleasant surprise. You felt it so clearly, Orion smiled. You express emotions beautifully now. Anyone can see it. Lysera shook her head lightly. Not everyone. But you always understand. They continued the exercise, shifting through different emotions: curiosity, excitement, gratitude, wonder, and peacefulness. The other students watched them occasionally, whispering to each other. Many had noticed something. Lysera no longer had sudden pauses. She had not frozen in weeks. Her mind felt balanced, and her senses stayed steady even in busy environments. After the exercise, Selvar approached them. You two performed very well, the instructor said. Lysera, your growth has been extraordinary. Lysera bowed her head again. Thank you, instructor. Selvar turned to Orion. Your support made a difference. Your patience has helped her greatly. Orion looked modestly down at the tablet in his lap. She learned everything herself. I only made sure she did not push herself too fast. Selvar gave a gentle hum of approval. It is rare to see such harmony between two species with very different sensory systems. Many students could learn from your example. Lysera felt warmth in her chest. She remembered the first time she had frozen in front of everyone. She remembered how embarrassed and confused she felt. She thought others would judge her, but Orion had simply watched her with understanding. He had seen her weakness, but not as something wrong. He had seen it as something that could be understood, not feared. After the session ended, Lysera and Orion walked outside into the academy courtyard. The sky above was bright and filled with floating lights that resembled glowing petals. They drifted gently in the air, carried by invisible currents. Lysera loved this part of the academy. It was peaceful and full of soft colors. Orion sat on a stone bench, and she sat beside him. We only have the final presentation left, Orion said. Lysera nodded. What should we present? We could show how sensitivity can become an ability, Orion suggested. Your ability to sense emotional changes is rare and special. Lysera tilted her head. Do you think others will understand? They already do, Orion replied. They see how balanced you are now. She looked down at her glowing markings. I used to be afraid of these. I thought they would reveal too much. But now they show your strength, Orion said. They shine when you understand something. They brighten when you feel steady. They show others you are balanced. Lysera smiled softly. You always notice things. I just pay attention, Orion answered. She paused, thinking. My weakness. It is no longer something I fear. It has become something that guides me, Orion nodded. Exactly. During the final week of the term, Lysera and Orion prepared their presentation. They designed a simple demonstration showing how emotional sensitivity can help different species understand one another. The academy leaders approved their topic and encouraged them to present it in the main hall. When presentation day arrived, the hall was filled with students, instructors, and academy officials. Lysera felt nervous at first, but Orion stood beside her with calm eyes and a steady presence. The hall lights dimmed, and the presentation began. Lysera explained how her sensory overload worked, but she used soft, careful words. She described how her species processed emotional energy and how unfamiliar environments could overwhelm her senses. Then Orion spoke about how humans were naturally observant in different ways. He explained how simple gestures, calm tones, and steady breathing could help balance someone experiencing sensory pressure. Together, they demonstrated a simple communication exercise. Lysera showed how her markings reacted to emotional shifts, and Orion showed how subtle human gestures could guide her back to balance. The audience watched with interest. No one judged her. No one looked confused. Instead, they seemed inspired. When the presentation ended, the hall filled with warm applause. Lysera felt her markings brighten again, but this time it was not from pressure, it was from joy. After the event, Salvar approached them once more. "You two have created something meaningful," the instructor said. "Your partnership has become a symbol of trust between different species." Lysera looked at Orion, and he looked back at her with a calm smile. Her secret weakness had once made her afraid. It had made her feel fragile in an unfamiliar world. But now, it was something she used to connect with others. It became a strength she shared with Orion, and together, they showed the Academy a new way of understanding. Lysera stood taller than ever before. She was no longer the alien girl who froze. She was the alien girl who learned to shine, and the human who knew her secret. Weakness had become the person who helped her turn it into something beautiful.